So first off, we're going to get right into our box office recap for the past weekend. Gotta say up front, this surprised me. The numbers surprised me. I know Super Bowl is a big deal. Obviously, I was watching it too. And yeah, Panthers got whooped. But that being said, I expected the numbers to be a bit higher than they were. As far as what made into our top five, well, I realize that, like the Super Bowl, I tend to get things wrong, I guess. So, taking the number one spot was Kung Fu Panda 3 for a second weekend in a row at 21 million, which is about half of what it did opening weekend. So, which, you know, you can expect some movies to get about a 50% drop. But that being said, the fact that this was number one at that number is very interesting to me. So that just showcases how many people didn't go to theaters this weekend. That being said, coming in at number two, we have Hail Caesar, which made 11.4 million on its opening weekend. So it didn't fare too well, although it did fare a little better than some of the other ones that opened. Coming in at number three, we have The Revenant, still hanging in there at 7.1 million. Speaking of hanging in there, Star Wars The Force Awakens continues to be in the top five. This is absolutely ridiculous. Seriously. Like, the movie is okay, but you do know it's coming out in April, right? I mean, who hasn't seen it? Anyway, 6.9 million. So it was pretty close to actually... pretty close to The Revenant on that. And then also opening this past weekend and barely made top five, but it did make top five. The Choice, the latest in Nicholas Sparks' series of movies. So completely floored me. I had the other four being in, you know, I had the other four. I had three of the other four being in the top, but I did not foresee how it was going to play out as far as where they were going to be. So, yeah, I didn't do a very good job. Speaking of not doing a good job, we had Pride and Prejudice and Zombies open to 5.2 million. No one went to see this movie. Now, granted, people weren't going to see much of the other movies either, but 5.2 million, that is ridiculous, especially considering it cost 28 million to make this film. 28 million, and they earned 5.2 of it. So, wow, that is definitely a thing. So yeah, like I said, a few things stand out here, noticeably being that, you know, Force Awakens still hanging in there. Numbers obviously were reflective of, I guess, what was happening this weekend with the Super Bowl, or maybe it was just a bad weekend. I haven't been able to compare this to last year's to really see, but I expected The Choice to just kind of not even be in the top 7. Really, I didn't think The Choice would even make the top 5. And it proved me wrong. And I thought Pride and Prejudice would do better. I've seen more advertising for it. You have the romance, you have zombies. It seemed like it would be a decent combination to get views, but it just wasn't the case. So, yeah, pretty surprising. But yeah, that is the box office recap for you guys. So if you had jotted down what you thought, or if you had an opinion of what you thought, I'd like to hear what it was, because this was unexpected for me.
Alright, so for the box office predictions this week, we have 3 movies that are opening this weekend: How to Be Single, Zoolander 2, and Deadpool. So that being said, at number 1, I have Deadpool because, well, Deadpool had great marketing, and I think a lot of people are excited to see this movie. Now, it's to be noted that this has all been done Monday of this week. So what the numbers are currently, I'm not going to look at. I'm just going to look at them come Monday morning. So I have number 1 being Deadpool. Now number 2 is How to Be Single. Do I think this movie is really going to be that good? Probably not, but it is a Valentine's Day type of movie, and be it that we have Valentine's Day tomorrow, it kind of makes sense that it would be number 2, at least in my mind. Number 3, Zoolander 2. Being that it's a sequel to Zoolander, so I think it's going to get people in for that. It is a comedy, but it's not a superhero comedy, so you have that, and plus the cast. I think it'll come in 3rd. I don't see it getting any higher than that. I don't really see it getting in lower than that. So, yeah, number 3. Now, coming in at number 4, Kung Fu Panda 3. Yeah, I mean, this is one of, if not the only kids movie currently in theaters, so you need something to be able to take the kids to. And with President's Day, coming up on Monday, for all I know, kids are out and about. You need something for them to be able to watch and be entertained by, and you certainly can't take them to Deadpool. So that's why I think it's going to stay in the top 5 and be at number 4. And rounding out the top 5, I'm going to put Hail Caesar. Again, it's only in the 2nd week of release, so, and it has a good cast. I know the reviews are mixed on it for sure, but I think it'll be able to just cling on to that 5th spot. But for all I know, it's Star Wars again. Obviously I did so well at this last time, right? But what have you, these are my predictions for this weekend. Go ahead and let me know in the comments what you think they're going to be. I think we can all agree that Deadpool is going to be number 1, right? I would be really disappointed if that's not the case. So hopefully it is. Alright, so with the Super Bowl, we also had some movie spots, TV spots, and I'm going to briefly go over some of them. I'm not really going to cover Deadpool. Didn't really have to do a great job. It did alright, but it didn't have to do a great job of selling me on this movie because the movie's coming out this week. Jungle Book didn't have to do much. It had an interesting use of 3D, I guess. I don't know, it had interesting shots where they came off kind of the frame a little bit. But that being said, they also had a trailer, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. So then you had Independence Day Resurgence, a little action spot, kind of cool. Didn't do much for me, but at least told people that this was coming out. So anyone that wasn't engaged in a lot of online media marketing would be able to see this movie. So then you had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It does look interesting because this is the first time that we see Krang show up, and Krang being one of the ultimate, turtle villains. We never seen a live action adaptation of him, and to see him there in all his CG glory or whatever, that had some people really interested. And then of course you got Bebop and Rocksteady in there as well with Shredder. So yeah, it looks like this movie has a lot more going for it. Moving on to Civil War. Again, a nice little spot. Didn't showcase too much that we hadn't already seen, except you did get a better idea of the lineup. So we got to see everyone coming to the frame, which was cool. And I think it really sold it just for that little bitty spot. I think it did a really good job of convincing anybody on the fence. If you are on the fence to see this movie, I think you were convinced by this little spot. So they did a good job there. Then you had the Jason Bourne TV spot, which, just let us know that was coming out. I had seen it was coming out. I had seen the title. I didn't buy the title. I still don't buy the title. But I had seen that it was coming out this summer. I just wasn't sure if that was true or not, because I hadn't seen anything for it. And we got to see a little bit for it, see him in action, which that got me excited, because I've owned the other 3 movies. I don't own Legacy, but as far as the actual Jason Bourne movies, I own the other 3, so it'll be interesting to see it. And then of course you have X-Men, the X-Men spot. I really liked this. I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. Again, we got to see some scenes that we had already seen before in the trailer, but we got to see some stuff added to it as well, like Apocalypse, uh, choke holding Mystique up in the air. So that was really cool, and this is one of those. It's funny. This is one of those movies that I think is getting a little overlooked because we have Batman v Superman, you have Captain America: Civil War, and then this is in there, but it's like people are forgetting almost that it's coming out, which is crazy because it's the third in a trilogy of two other really good movies so far. And then you have Bryan Singer coming back on board, and this is the first time to see a live action Apocalypse and to see Psylocke, which, hot damn, Psylocke, yeah, well done. Anyway, but the fact is, you got all it, and Storm, you get Storm back, Jean, Cyclops, you get all these characters. So the fact that it's getting kind of overshadowed in a way, I find interesting. But yeah, so that'll wrap up my thoughts on the Super Bowl spots. Like I said, not spending a lot of time on it, but we will get into the trailer reviews really soon. Alright, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Fox has already started in IGN. Fox has already started on a Deadpool sequel. This news came out a couple days before the movie had even opened. So they're already working on the sequel, and they're intent on keeping the same creative team behind this movie. Now, if you haven't, go ahead and go check out my review of it. But if you are a fan of this movie and what this movie had to offer, then it's kind of cool hearing that the same creative team is on board. The fact that Fox has already pushed ahead with the sequel. They initially pushed ahead for a sequel for Fantastic Four before that came out, and we see how that worked. But that being said, Fantastic Four was Fantastic Four. Deadpool is a little more obscure. Not as many people know about him. And this movie didn't even have that much of a budget to work on. So the fact that they are pushing ahead with it is really cool. And then in an interview asking about the future for Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds talking about the character's inclusion into the MCU, he said, quote, "There's so much material to mine in just the X-Men universe. In the future, if we're doing a bunch more Deadpool movies, we're really going to explore the X-Men a lot. We'll see. And maybe X-Force. X-Force is my top priority. I really want to get that in." So, seeing that he was such an advocate for pushing Deadpool forward, he's the reason it happened, gives me real great hope that we are going to see an X-Force movie, especially seeing how much he wants it to happen. I want it to happen. I think a lot of comic book fans want it to happen, and they want to see Cable come into the movie. So getting all that I'm looking forward to it. I believe him, and I do think we're probably going to see it down the line. How soon down the line? Too early to tell, but still kind of cool to know. So I don't know how many of you are excited yet for the upcoming Assassin's Creed movie, which is set to come out December 21st, starring and produced by Michael Fassbender, and with Justin Kurzel as the director, who also directed Macbeth. But speaking with Empire magazine, Fassbender cited The Matrix as inspiration, saying, quote, "I've always thought about The Matrix when we've approached this idea of DNA memory elevates it from a basic fantasy genre because you have something an audience can actually believe in." And then he goes on to say that there is a great focus on practical. Quote, "We have stunt guys jumping across buildings in Valletta. We've got Damian Walters, stuntman, doing a 120-foot leap of faith without any rope into a bag. So it's pretty incredible to see." So, yeah, but my thoughts on this. First off, the fact that it's taken inspiration from The Matrix, I mean, that's cool. A lot of things have those, so it's really about how well they do it and how well they incorporate that kind of thing. But I get what they're saying, trying to give it some sense of realism and what have you. That's perfectly fine. When it comes to having a lot of practical, again, the practical is great. I love practical. I also love CG. I love both when they're used right. So it all depends on how it's used. You can tell me that there's, a lot of practical in it, and that's really cool. And hearing about what these stunt guys are willing to do obviously is going to make a difference when I'm seeing it, in the actual theater. But that being said, I hope that what they're not doing is that if there's scenes which can be elevated by using CG, that they don't decide, oh, well, I'm not going to use CG because it's CG. Don't do that. You always use whatever benefits the scene, okay? So if CG is going to elevate that scene, use CG. If practical is going to elevate that scene, use practical. But that being said, I am looking forward to this movie. I haven't played really the games, but I've seen them. My friends played them. So, I think it'll be pretty good. And getting this kind of information is obviously interesting to me because we get a sense of what direction the movie's going, what the movie's going to have in it. So for that, I think it's pretty cool. All right, in the next bit of movie news, according to Deadline, Johnny Depp will join the Universal Monsters universe as the iconic scientist who discovers a way to make himself invisible. Obviously, the Invisible Man. There's no word yet on who is writing the script, though Alex Kurtzman and Chris Morgan are on board to produce. So, yeah, if you didn't know, he would be joining he'd be joining into this universe along with The Mummy, which is already set to come out, starring Tom Cruise and Sophia Boutella. Which is supposed to come out June of next year. So, they're trying to, obviously, Universal's trying to create a franchise brand like what you get with Marvel or DC, or even Mission Impossible. They're trying to go through and build that. They tried already to, I think, start off when we had the Dracula Untold, I think is what it was called. But that obviously didn't deliver as well as they were hoping for. So they're revamping it yet again. Johnny Depp coming on board. Look, he's done some good performances. He has, but he's also known for just playing the same character now, which is the Pirates of the Caribbean persona that we see so often in his movies. So, can I be excited about his name being dropped? No, not really. Not until I see a little bit more to do with it. I want to see if we're going to get Johnny Depp like from Black Mass, or if we're going to get Johnny Depp from like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Two very different presentations. So I really want to wait and see before I make a judgment call. But it is some news, and it is interesting that they are in full gear now, really pushing forward these movies to come out, pushing forward these remakes and reintroductions to these characters. So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Not too much to say, but it is at least interesting news. Alright, so I wasn't going to initially report on this because I'm not the biggest fan, but I thought I would anyway. The next 3 Transformers movies, 5, 6, and 7, all have release dates, with Transformers 5 setting to release on June 23rd of 2017, the same day as Wonder Woman. Transformers 6 will be coming out June 28th of 2018, and Transformers 7 on June 28th of 2019. So June seems to be their month now. That being said, I'm not a big fan of this series anymore. The last one was god-awful in my opinion, and to be honest, it dipped down a little bit from the first one. I'm okay with the third one, but I wasn't a big fan of the second one, and I absolutely despise the last one. Now, to see this coming out against Wonder Woman, here's the thing. Like, a lot of people might be like, oh, Wonder Woman. I mean, it's freaking Wonder Woman. Like, she's obviously got this, right? This movie's going to do amazing. They're stupid to open up against that. But when you look at how well Transformers did, not critically, but box office wise, seeing it cross that, $1 billion mark, what can you really say? And it does really well overseas. So, and then you have Gal Gadot. Yes, it's a Wonder Woman movie, but it's her first kind of movie brand, her first full movie where she's in the spotlight. I wouldn't be worried if I was, if I was DC, if I was behind Wonder Woman. I wouldn't be worried at all. Certainly wouldn't move. But I can also see why Transformers would stay where it is, because for some reason it just gets so much of an audience, even when people don't like it. They see the trailer and they're like, "Oh my god, this movie looks fan-freaking-tastic. I got to go see it." And then of course they go see it and they're disappointed by it. Or at least a lot of people are disappointed by it. So I don't know. I feel like this might pull a little bit of money away from Wonder Woman, who had that day all to herself. But being that she is the kind of ultimate female superhero, she's iconic even before, we see her in the movies. I think she's gonna be just fine. But yeah, so those are the next three release dates that were announced. Whether they stay or not, completely undetermined, because movies shift dates all the time, which is why I didn't want to really talk about it. But then I was like, okay, so it is going up against Wonder Woman. I thought I'd address some of that. These movies, this is a crazy amount of movies. I don't know that Bay's going to be behind all three, given how close together they are. I know if he was put up to the challenge, he probably would do that. Because say what you will about the man, he's definitely a hard worker. But I don't know. I don't see him doing it. And hopefully he doesn't do it, because I haven't liked, a lot of what he's done so far. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I think Wonder Woman will be just fine. Some of the best ideas come from Hollywood, and this is not one of them. So, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog is going to be given the movie treatment with a live-action animation hybrid. Yeah, that's right, live-action animation hybrid. So, like the Smurfs, or the Chipmunks, Garfield, Yogi Bear, because those are so successful, right? Oh, God. Anyway, in collaboration with Sony Pictures, and is scheduled for a 2018 release date. Obviously, I am not thrilled about this news. I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it. They haven't done a very good job convincing me otherwise. I think Paddington is the only live-action animation hybrid that people liked. I have yet to really see the movie to determine whether that's true. It may just be the exception to the rule. But the thing about it is, I grew up playing Sonic. I think a lot of people played Sonic. I'm not so sure how relevant Sonic is now, and how many kids even know of Sonic, really, except for just the image itself. But if you want to do a movie, why not do something like, why not incorporate him more in Wreck-It Ralph? Because we saw him in Wreck-It Ralph before, and that was cool. That was a nice little tidbit. You can add more to that. Don't do these animation, live action hybrids. I don't like them. They don't seem to work very well. So I just don't see the point in it. Could it be good? Absolutely. It could be amazing. I could be eating my own words right now. But just on principle alone, on the concept of it, I don't see what the point is in doing it. So that's me. But like I said, 2018 release date. Are you guys excited about it? Do you think it could work out? Like, what are your thoughts about it? Go ahead and let me know. And now for some brief Star Wars news. Star Wars Episode 8 has begun filming this past week, as well as production on Episode 9 has already started. So, we've gone over the box office. Clearly, I don't know about this weekend, but clearly last weekend, it's Episode 7 still making numbers, still making some money, set for an April release date. And then, the fact that they're starting now, makes perfect sense. It's scheduled to come out in 2 years in December, so makes sense that they would go ahead and start. Both of these films, though, will have new directors attached to them, so it'll be interesting to see how much they differ or how similar they are, or if you can even like what you can notice about the differences between the films because of the directors, because each director has a different kind of style to him. So that would be interesting to figure out. The fact that production's already started on episode 9, again, not too surprising for me. That that's a bit of the ways off, so I doubt we'll hear much about that going forward. But yeah, I mean, it's something, and I think this is something, again, that we kind of all expected, that they would start off right away. And it's no surprise that JJ is probably, why he is choosing to be just a producer and not a director of these next films, because he just got done with the last one. They finished that in November, right before the release date. So, that makes perfect sense. Everyone needs a break, right? Alright, so we're going to enter into the world of Harry Potter briefly. This released by IGN. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is set to come out this summer after a stage play by the same title is debuting in July. So this book is actually just the book form of that stage play, but it takes place 19 years after Deathly Hallows with Harry and Albus, which is Harry's son. So, to be clear, J.K. Rowling came on Twitter recently and said the script of hashtag Cursed Child is being published, but hashtag not a novel and hashtag not a prequel. So I'm not really sure what all she has to do even with this book, or with this play rather, being made. So I really don't know in that regard, but as I said, it is not a novel or a prequel. It's just the book form of the script for the stage play. Now, being set 19 years after Deathly Hallows and everything, I am curious as to what all is in here, but do I think it's necessary? No, it's not. I mean, we got the ending that we were looking for with the last book. I stayed up late reading all of the last books. I own all the movies, so to get another view into this world, sure, it's cool. We got Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them coming out that we can do that with, but to get it to continue on with Harry and seeing more into Harry's life, I really don't feel like it's necessary. But that's me. Are you guys, what do you guys think about it? Are you interested in this? Would you check this out? Like I said, the play comes out in July, and this will be coming out shortly after the play debuts. So if you want to check it out, go for it. I probably will on curiosity alone, but do I think it's necessary? Nah, not really. Alright, so I'm going to be reviewing the trailers. I'm going to start off with the Huntsman Winter's War. Second trailer has come out, and I'm going to go and play it while I'm talking here. So you're just going to get my thoughts as it's going on. You're not going to hear the audio, so you just have to watch it yourself and then come back and hear my thoughts on it. I'll be honest, this trailer presents it in a different way than what I thought from the first one. We get a little bit of the backstory for Elsa, seeing what happened to her kid. I think that's kind of interesting. See her go and see the turmoil and everything. Having Emily Blunt in this film is really selling it for me, because she's done such a good job in other films that I don't know. I really feel like I'm going to be captivated by her performance, which is good coming from Snow White and the Huntsman, to where I really didn't care getting this film. And you see, of course, her start to train the Huntsman, which I guess is a group of fighters, not just one. So that's pretty interesting. But just seeing that there's going to be a battle between her and between Charlize Theron, that seems really cool. Again, I didn't get this from the first trailer. I didn't think that they were going to be fighting. So this is definitely a prequel That's for sure. It's certainly a prequel. I don't know how well it matches up timeline wise with the other one, or maybe they're just forgetting the other one happened. It doesn't seem like it, but maybe that's the route they're trying to go. I don't know. Action looks good. CG looks pretty good. Chris Hemsworth, Jessica Chastain, obviously they're more than welcomed in this. Just the cast is impressive to me. I don't know, the visuals, the music, I'm a little bit of a fan of. Just seems like it has a lot going for it. I'm getting real pumped for this movie. I can't help it. I know what the other one did, but this one feels like it's gonna be a little different. And you don't have Dopey Face in there. So for those of you, I'm sure if you've seen the other one, you know who Dopey Face is. Come on, get real. You know who Dopey Face is. But I don't know. I just feel like this. I feel like this could be quite a good movie. So yeah, my initial thoughts on it. Watching the trailer as it's going, I'm pretty excited. I could be a fool, but I'm pretty excited. Alright, mentioned this earlier, but there is a new Jungle Book trailer out. We see Mowgli here running with Bagheera chasing him down. And we see the wolves, and we finally get a voice to Bagheera. We get not all, but we get a lot of the animals talking. So to see Shao Kahn show up, being very intimidating presence, this is so beautiful looking, and it's all CG. It's still crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I see Mowgli running from Shere Khan. Interesting way of getting out there. I wonder if he got. Well, no, I guess it's not that big of a jump. I'll just say he made quite a leap of faith there into the open. But there's some aspects we're already seeing that are a bit different, at least from the animated version that Disney did, and of course the live action version that they originally did, which I don't know how many people know about. Quite different from that. Gotta love King Louie showing up. Getting quite a bit of action. We're getting some nods here to what we'd seen before. This Bill Murray, Ben Kingsley, Idris Elba, Scarlett Johansson, list goes on. Neil as the kid, as Mowgli. I don't know. It's hard to tell just from this. Hard to make a call on how good he's going to be, but it looks like he's going to really steal the movie in a way from all these other great actors that are providing the performances. And King Louie, good lord, he's huge. Like, man, he's just a giant. Oh, I like this joke here at the end. Real fitting. Again, captures the original feel of the animated movie. Coming out April 15th. So definitely looking forward to this. Real excited about it. Again, having Jon Favreau come on as well. There's just so much going for this movie. I really hope it's a hit. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Again, really looking forward to it. I think this was a great trailer, showing us kind of everything we needed to know. I don't need to say any more, so hopefully I don't. And yeah, that'll wrap that up. Okay, last trailer coming up. I had to review it. I've seen it twice already. I'm gonna watch it again. Sorry if I get a little too excited here. Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the final trailer. Let's get into it. So, seeing the Batwing come around, getting Alfred talking about it, what's happening with where the villains are, what have you. See Batman break in. We've seen that before, right? Now this, oh my god, this straight up feels like an Arkham game. This is like the 90s animated series. Batman, just look at him move. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Crazy. That's just crazy. So, yeah. Oh, I like the joke. Definitely like the joke. Nice little comedy between them. Nice little exchange. Get a sense of their relationship. Now we're getting some things I've already seen before, but God, Ben Affleck is really selling me that he's Batman. So much. Okay, and then we see part of the shot that we get in the other trailers. We see what happens before that, where the Batmobile slams into him, getting the usual Lex thing. That's cool. Yeah. Okay. And then we're getting a fight, and you see, freaking goes through the building. That's crazy. It's stopping bullets. God, look at him move. All this action. Oh, this is nuts. Gal Gadot saying her first words. I think shutting down people who were like, "Oh, she's not talking." Look at her leaping through the air. So much action. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Oh, movie, why aren't you here? That was quite a push. And then look at that. Look at it. Look at Superman's face. Superman's like, what the hell? Jeez. Good Lord. Oh, this movie. I wanted you in my life for so long. I don't know how much you guys know or not. I don't know if I've said this, but this movie is coming out, next month. My birthday is next month. You damn right I'm gonna be seeing this movie. You damn right. Not just because I'm a fan of Batman, but I'm a fan of this Superman that we've gotten in this new universe. He's still powered as hell, but he's made mistakes already. He's still growing, and oh man, that last shot. I'll be talking about that for a while. I got to see this. I saw it Thursday night, and then decided to go see Deadpool, and saw it again in front of Deadpool on this big ass screen, bigger than all the other stadiums in there. So to see it like that is mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. I want to see this movie. Hopefully you guys want to see this movie. Please let me know if you want to see this movie. I mean, I get it. People weren't the biggest fans of the last trailer, but I think this really brought it back. This really delivered. And last trailer aside, all the other trailers have been really good. This has got to be the best one, hands down. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop from continuing. So, yes, I'm excited. I want to see it. Hopefully you want to see it too. Go ahead and let me know. And finally, I thought I'd wrap this up by going over just a few of the new releases that came out this past week. One being the latest James Bond movie, Spectre, which a lot of people were disappointed by, especially coming after Skyfall, but I can understand the criticism for sure, and I have yet to actually review this movie officially, but it is to be noted that it did come out this week. So if you are a fan of it, go ahead and check it out. Another movie that people were perhaps disappointed by was Crimson Peak, directed by Guillermo del Toro. And it's mostly because it presented itself as a horror movie, yet a lot of people were disappointed in the horror aspect of it. It just wasn't what they thought it was supposed to be going in. But those are two of the latest releases. Another thing that you have coming out is Pokemon the movies 1 through 3, the Steelbook Blu-ray collection. Now, I don't know how many of y'all grew up watching Pokemon or watching the movies. I want to say up front, I did watch a lot of them, but they don't hold up. At least not for me. They don't hold up worth a dime. But if you're a fan of the Pokemon series, if you are a fan of the movies, and nostalgia is a pretty cool thing to have for them, or if there's just aspects of them that you really like,
it is to be noted that they do have a steelbook coming out. Also, for those Star Trek fans out there, the Next Generation Motion Picture Collection has been released. This includes all of the Next Generation movies. It's to celebrate the 50th anniversary, so it includes, all 4 movies. I said all like it's supposed to, like it's a lot, but it does include all 4 movies. So if you did enjoy them, I recommend checking that out as well. So those are just some of the movies that have come out this week. Obviously, there are others. There are just some that I wanted to bring into the spotlight, as it were. So I'll try to do this a little more often. Include this as well, because just for you guys out there to know. Personally, when it comes to Star Trek, I was quite a fan of the Next Generation series, and despite the faults of some of the movies, when you have like First Contact, I thought that was good. And Nemesis, although it dipped quite a bit, a lot of people weren't as excited for it. Having Tom Hardy in it, I did think brought something to the movie. But anyway, that being said, those are the movies that have come out, some of the movies that have come out this week. So make sure to go and check them out and buy them if you are interested. Hopefully you guys have stuck through this entire movie news. I tried to do a little bit better than I did the last one, as you can tell. Try to incorporate more images and go over some of the stuff on it. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below, what did you find interesting about this week? Is there something particularly that you would want to see in the future installments? And hopefully you enjoyed this. Click that like button, share, subscribe to my channel, and watch my other vids. I do appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much for those of you that are taking the time to watch, or more importantly, just listen to what I have to say. It means a lot to me. So anyway, like I said, this will wrap this up. So until next time, peace.